I mean, this reminds me too of Orange's Anus face. You know, he's not away. I mean, Orange's Anus face should be ostracized, kicked out of the country, ostracized, just like what they did in ancient Greece. Or I should say in ancient Athens. Ancient Athens.
Are we going to start casting the ostracismo?
Yes, but here's the thing. In our country, every Republican who is not repugnant should immediately disassociate themselves with Orange's Anus face. If not, you're ostracized too, pal.
I'm going to say I wouldn't mind, actually. So, to bring a little context to what we're talking about, ostracism was a procedure in ancient democratic Athens in which any citizen could be expelled from the city-state of Athens for 10 years.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
While some instances clearly express popular anger at the citizen, ostracism was often used preemptively. It was used as a way of neutralizing someone thought to be a threat to the state or potential tyrant through, in many cases, popular opinion, often informed the choice regardless. The word ostracism continues to be used for, social shunning and all that bullshit.
Right.
So I just had an idea, kind of random thing. So, for the remaining hour, do you want to kind of keep talking about current event stuff? Because I know there's been a lot of things that you've been wanting to over the past couple of weeks that you've been taking notes on and stuff like that have been on your mind. So I'm kind of tempted to maybe postpone the finale of our Pueblo Revolt series until the next time we record.
My stuff can wait because my stuff is ongoing. Like, for example, the struggles of teachers today. Like, that stuff's ongoing. So I guess we could save that. How about you, though? Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean,
because man, I'm learning a lot right now. Like, holy crap, I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of tempted to kind of use the remaining hour to kind of keep focusing on, like, more current event stuff. You know what I mean?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. Fuck it, it's our show. We've done it before. We have literally changed our mind last minute at the past. It's like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to talk about this shit instead.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, because I think it was you who actually brought up the Ostracizmo stuff first, was it because you watched the Natalie Wynn or the ContraPoints video about envy?
Oh, no. I mean, I just knew that from my studies of the ancient Greeks.
Okay. I don't know if you've actually seen her video about envy, ContraPoints, aka Natalie Wynn, but she actually talks about Ostracizmos. And she thought it was funny as fuck. Because and she actually says, wow, I love the ancient world because it's just so everything was just so direct. Like, she even gives the account of one guy. I don't remember this figure's name, but I think he was named Aristides. I could be wrong, but she mentioned somebody named Aristides the Just, and there was a procedure for ostracizmos in one account. Aristides, that's it.
Aristides, okay.
And I think this is it. Let me show you the Wikipedia article I'm looking at here. But she mentions this guy named Aristides the Just of Athens. And one day, during a procedure of ostracizmos, this illiterate guy comes up to him. He doesn't recognize him. And he asks if he could write down the name of a guy named Aristides the Just. And he's like, why do you want to ostracize this guy? And she says that his response was like, this guy who was illiterate was so sick of everyone calling him Aristides the Just that he wanted to vote him to be exiled from Athens for like 10 years. It's like, fuck this guy. I'm tired of this motherfucker talking this the Just. I want him exiled.
Well, dude, that's amazing because that reminds me of anti-intellectualism. And how many times have I said it on here before? The United States of America is so anti-intellectual. That's why we treat our teachers like dog shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, so
and worship celebrities.
Yeah. Like, I feel like this country would sooner ostracize a teacher than it would a celebrity. Even if the celebrity did instead horrendous shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the stories about Aristides...
i.e. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know, e.g. Donald Trump.
Yeah. So the story about Aristides actually comes from Plutarch, The Life of Aristides.
Nice. I love Plutarch, by the way.
Yeah. So according to...
reading this shit.
Yeah. So Aristides was a member of a family of moderate fortune. Of his early life, it is only told that he became a follower of the statesman Cleisthenes, and sided with the aristocratic party in Athenian politics. He first came to notice as strategos in command of the native tribe Antiochus at the Battle of Marathon, and was no doubt of consequence of the distinction which he then achieved that he was elected Archon Eponymos, okay, for the ensuing year, which basically means like the chief magistrate of a city, I think.
Yeah.
Pursuing
maybe close to like a consul, maybe.
Pursuing a conservative policy to maintain Athens as a land power, he was one of the chief opponents of the naval policy proposed by Themistocles, the Athenian politician in general.
And that would be that was wise because Athens did lose the war to Sparta. And Sparta really had no navy to speak of.
So wait, who do you think was wise? Aristides or Themistocles?
Aristides in this case. Because, I mean, and also, too, you know, you want to talk about empire. You want to talk about, you got to talk about Athens back in this time period. Athens, the city-state, holy mackerel. Reading Thucydides' history of the Peloponnesian War, Athens did some really horrendous foreign policy. I mean, stuff that is comparable to the crimes of the American Empire or the British Empire, or take your pick of whatever Western Empire. I mean, for example, let's take the example of was it the island of Delos, I believe? Where basically Athens just came in there, the Navy, and said, look, we're going to do what the hell we want to do. This is a direct quote from them too, at least Thucydides. The strong do what they want. The weak must suffer what they can.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this was the Delian League, the name of, you know, like the more formal name of, you know, Athens' little overseas empire here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But in this story, according to Plutarch, the rivalry between Aristides and Themistocles began all the way in their youth. So these guys had beef since day one. The conflict between the two leaders ended in the ostracism of Aristides at a date variously given between 485 and 482. It is said that, on this occasion, an illiterate voter who did not recognize Aristides approached a statesman and requested that he write the name of Aristides on his voting shard to ostracize him. The latter asked if Aristides had wronged him. No, was the reply, and I do not even know him, but it irritates me to hear him everywhere called the just. Aristides wrote his own name on the ballot. It's like, oh, okay, but
that's some good. That's dope. That's hilarious.
It's so fucking petty, but it's fucking beautiful. I love it. It's like, yo, fuck this guy. You think people on Twitter are fucking petty? This motherfucker is like, kick this motherfucker out of the city.
Imagine, if they had Twitter back then. Oh my god, Facebook.
Voting shards were like the equivalent of tweets.
And I figured out too, it was the siege of Melos. So it was a siege. Basically, the Athenians offered the Melians the Melians an ultimatum: surrender and pay tribute to Athens, or be destroyed. So the Athenians did not. So the Athenians basically said, "F morality. The situation is this: pay us money, or we're gonna kill you. The strong do what they can, and the weak must suffer what they must."
Mm-hmm.
So this is Athens, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, Age of Empires was not at all prepared me for real Athenian history, bro.
And this is not even getting into their effed up society when it comes to boy love.
Yeah. Pedophile imperialism.
But hey, we should go back to, classic Western society, right? Western civilization.
This is the Western legacy, right? Like,
This is
even guys like Ben Shapiro want to identify with fucking ancient Athens as like a precursor to our Judeo-Christian society. Okay. If you wanna side with this, by all means.
Oh, you remember too? What was that guy you sent me? Steven Crowder had something Sparta on his desk.
Well,
remember
that? Stephen Crowder?
No, it was the troll.
That was Ethan Klein.
Ethan, yeah. So
Klein.
Ethan was trolling Crowder, yeah.
Yeah. And because they were going to have like a debate or discussion or some shit.
Yeah.
And then, they're talking about like vaccine mandates and shit. So Crowder gives his bullshit. And then like Ethan Klein on H3 is like, Stephen, did you know that the ancient Spartans practiced man-boy love? And then like fucking Sam Cedar shows up. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
So I'm saying these guys want to go back to this time of ostracization and of ruthless, absolutely ruthless empire and man boy love. That's what these guys want to go back to.
I mean, I'm not going to call Stephen Crowder a pedophile by any stretch, but I figured if he could somehow speak the language and adapt to ancient Athens, I'm sure he'd be very happy, actually.
Well, he already wears a strap-on.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget slavery. Slavery was a pretty common, ubiquitous thing.
Oh yeah, and only the free Athenian males could vote.
Yeah, shit, he'd fucking love that.
People are so ignorant of history, man.
Yeah. Man, fucking cancel culture. This is like, so I had my views changed a little bit on cancel culture, right? Just a little bit. So, like, I do believe cancel culture is a thing, but I don't think anybody really gets canceled, if that makes sense. I think there's only attempts to cancel people, and it makes, depending on the person, it might make their life a living hell. It just really depends on who they are. But for the most part, at the end of the day, like almost all the time, unless they're outed as like some kind of sexual predator, like Louis C.K. or some shit like that, then they end up just going back to what they were doing before the cancellation shit happened. So nobody really gets canceled. There are people who try to cancel you, but yeah, I don't think anybody really has been canceled. Unless you're like Abraham Lincoln, right? And then you get like canceled by an assassin or some shit like that. Or
like Mortal Kombat cancellation.
Yeah, or if you're Aristides the Just, you get canceled for like 10 years.
Well, it said he wrote his own name on the ballot. That's hilarious.
It's like, okay, buddy. Like, he could have written fucking Themistocles' name. But he's like, no, I have to be.
I'd rather get out of here. You guys are idiots.
I'd be like, if I were him, I'd be like, yeah, I just write Themistocles. Like, fuck this guy. I'm not getting banished. Fuck you. I'm reading more about Ostracons, the actual, like, shards being used to cast these ballots. An ostracon is a piece of pottery usually broken off from a vase or other earthenware vessel. Ostraca refers to shards or even small pieces of stone that have writing scratched to them. Usually these are considered to have been broken off before the writing was added. Ancient people used the cheap, plentiful, and durable broken pieces of pottery around them as convenient places to place writing for a wide variety of purposes, mostly very short inscriptions, but in some cases very long. Especially when you're trying to kick a motherfucker out of the city. It just sounds so fucking ridiculous to me. It's like you can just write a ballot just to kick a guy out for any fucking reason. It doesn't even have to be a good reason like that guy. He's just like...
that sounds hilarious too.
It's like, I just fucking hate Aristides being called the Just all the time. I just want him to leave forever.
Well, it just shows that human nature is just, in my opinion at least, it's naturally stupid. Like, I don't even know this guy. I'm just tired of his name. And Aristides, it wasn't like he was going around and calling himself the Just. Other people were doing that. Like, dude, I'm not even calling myself that.
Mm-hmm.
And you want me out because other people called what?
It's like, I didn't choose the name, bro. That's not my branding. It's just what everyone else called me. I don't care. Fuck you. Get out. Apparently in ancient Syracuse, there was a similar practice called pedalismos, or pedalism.
Oh, God.
Where in a citizen... no, it looks like it's spelled like flower petal.
Oh, okay. Where are you at?
Hold on.
Let me show you. See if I can use my ancient Greek to help you.
Help me, classical educated man.
Yeah, I'm truly classically educated. I am. I have a degree in classics.
You literally have like an old-fashioned liberal education. Like the same kind of shit that like Sir Thomas More would have had.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Following a failed coup by Tindarides in 454 BCE, the Syracusan assembly sought to check the power of potential tyrants and prevent future political uprisings. Consequently, the assembly turned to Athens' institution of ostracism as an example, adopting and adapting the system for their own use. Thus, the assembly established their own system known as petalism.
What that means, petalism?
Based on the Athenian practice of ostracism, Syracusan citizens would vote on an influential individual to be cast out from the city, with their votes being recorded and submitted on olive leaves, rather than the traditional piece of pottery, Ostracon. Additionally, the individual to be ostracized was determined by whomever received the greatest number of votes, with no set threshold number of votes required. As a result, one citizen was guaranteed to be sentenced after a vote, with the individual then being, quote, exiled for a period of 5 years. Oh, it seems like a more mild version of it. But the trade-off is like, okay, in an ostracism, it sounds like you have to actually have like a minimum amount of votes to be kicked out. But it's just like, nah. In Syracuse, like, okay, if you get the most, fuck you, get out. And it guarantees somebody's getting kicked out for 5 years. It's like, I'm tired of your fucking takes on Twitter. Get the fuck out of my city.
Oh my God, don't you have any sports to play? Just
go to fucking like Corinth or some shit.
And olive leaves too. Like, I swear, man, whenever I think of ancient Greeks and olives, I think of naked men oiling each other up while they're like before they do athletic stuff. Because they, at least the Athenians, they worked out naked.
Oh yeah. Well, didn't the Spartans do that shit too?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I don't want to make a blanket statement because I'm not sure if all the Greek city-states did that. But but yeah, so I just think about that, and that's where we get the word gym from. It literally means naked. Gymnos.
Really?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I never knew that.
It means naked.
Wow.
Gymnos. Gymnasium. Yeah.
How come conservative parents...
The word gymnasium comes from the Greek word gymnos, meaning nude.
How come conservative parents never get mad about that?
Yeah, athletes in the ancient Olympic Games would participate in the nude.
Then again, most conservative parents don't have classical educations either.
Yeah. They only claim, oh, we need to go back to Western values. Well, hell, let's have these football players be naked when they're on that field. Let's watch dudes in Ireland. Come on, man. Come on out there. Let's start a movement. Let's watch grown men oiled up wrestling each other naked. Woo! Come on, let's do that.
That'd be...
And although I would say, too, the Greeks love to watch teenage boys. But that's why I say grown men, because I'm not with that shit.
Yeah.
So
I'm on a related article called Gymnopedia. Let me see. Maybe you'll know what this one's about. This one's more specifically about ancient Sparta. Gymnopedia.
Oh man, I'm not liking that last word. Pida. Oh,
I don't like that. Sets an alarm bell off in my head too. But let's see.
Oh no.
Gymnopedia was an annual festival celebrated exclusively in ancient Sparta. Helped to define Spartan identity. It features generations of naked Spartan men. Okay, it doesn't say necessarily says boys. It says generations of naked Spartan men.
We like naked men. We like naked grown men. Consensual. We like it.
Consensual war dancing and choral singing. With a large emphasis placed on age and generational groups.
Oh, God, I don't like that.
I'm starting to get
I'm getting creeper.
If it's like a bunch of adults, whatever. It's just like, oh God, don't bring a kid in. But this is ancient Sparta, so I fucking know the answer to that already. Oh God, I can also see why you got so really bad about that second word there, because I just read the etymology.
Yeah.
Literally needs naked or unarmed child or youth. Ew.
This is a Wikipedia article we're on, folks.
Is this the fucking another thing of Western civilization that conservatives really care about? Like
pedophilia and I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because think about it this way: as conservative, generally speaking, as like either college or professional football is, like I'm surprised like people have not like found a way to incorporate something similar to this. I can imagine some weird conservative ass coach on like a high school football team is like, all right, we're going to do a team building exercise that the ancient Spartans used to do, guys. Boys. They're like, what?
Oh, God. I can see that. I can totally imagine that happening. Not imagine, but I can totally... I would believe it if I heard it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Like, is... Whew.
Oh, and look what it says. So Pausanias, who is a Greek literature author, describes this Gymnopedia as a festival which the Spartans take more seriously than any other.
What a surprise.
Oh, boy.
Isn't it like another thing too? This is like another thing I usually see like in right-wing imagery and stuff, like how they appropriate what they think is actually like Spartan imagery. Do you know what I mean? But like the funny thing is, I'm trying to remember the name of this thing. But it's like some kind of like right-wing gun right thing or whatever. And they have like a Corinthian Helm, but they think it's like supposed to be Spartan. Like, have you ever seen that before?
The Corinthian Helm? No.
It's kind of like the kind of helmet that you would more commonly associate with like ancient Greek soldiers. Here it is, right here. It's like this.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but this is like one style of helm from like one city-state. Like, and they would actually tip the helmet upward for comfort because it's like fucking heavy.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
It's awesome, though.
Yeah, it fell out of favor among the use of the ancient Greeks in favor of more open types. The Italo-Corinthian types remained in use until the 1st century AD, being used, among others, by the Roman army. Okay. So, like, go ahead.
Oh, no, saying, let's go back to that dance. Well, just to go back to that dancing part. Do you remember in in the Three Kingdoms, I'm going to say something. See if you can finish it. Do not give a sword to a man who can't blank. What's the blank?
Do not give a sword to a man who can't dance?
Correct.
Damn.
Because check this out, man. Because I was watching the Nutcracker ballet with my wife. The ballet met at the Ohio Theater.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, like, why is dancing considered feminine? Like, all throughout history, if you can't fight, if you can't dance. Like, look at what these Spartan dudes did. They danced with each other, man.
Yeah.
And also, look at the boxers, for example. I'll just use boxers. Look at boxers with good foot movement. They can dance, man.
Yeah.
Look at Lomachenko. He can dance. Like, and look at Sugar Ray Robinson, the boxer. The greatest of all time, in my opinion. He was a tap dancer. Also, look at that in China, what I just told you, in ancient China, or the Han Dynasty.
Yeah.
Don't give a sword to a man who can't dance.
Do you remember that scene in Romance of the Three Kingdoms when Liu Bei is kind of like a guest because he just married Sun Quan's sister, Lady Sun?
Yeah. And there's
And then, they're holding this kind of celebration, and it's kind of, Sun Quan is trying to kill Liu Bei. So, he starts it out with a guy holding like a sword dance. And then, because his brothers suspect that they're going to try to kill him, they join in too. And they're just kind of like sword dancing, like, but they're not naked though. That would be fucking awkward. You're just fucking completely naked at a party with you and some other dudes are just dancing around with swords, and your junk is exposed.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't imagine that, man. That would. What is?
Damn. I don't think we would have this conversation if we're not for you bringing up the Ostracon stuff and me having watched the Natalie Wynn video about envy. Because we learned so much about the ancient world today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and not just this, but also the brutality of it, of the Athenian Empire.
Yeah.
And you want to get into the brutality of the Spartan city-state? Well, the Spartans were outnumbered 10-1 by the Helots, which were their slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like these societies that these people who want to return to quote-unquote traditional Western values that they hold up in the air as some holy grail, these societies are just as corrupt, more corrupt than ours today.
Yeah. Like,
more fucked up.
Whose Western society are you talking about? Like, do you want to embody like the virtues and values of the ancient Greeks or the Romans? What about the Gauls and their fucking values? Because they had their own value system and shit. What about the fucking Vikings? Or, what about like when the Moors like invaded Iberia and settled in there for like 700 years? Like, why aren't we counting that as Western? At least to my knowledge, the fucking Moors, like the Almoravids and other dynasties, didn't practice fucking pederasty like the ancient Greeks. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was not an institutionalized thing. Well,
let's take it back to West Africa with Timbuktu. Look at the great learning that went on there.
Yeah.
I mean, learning and academic, right? Scholarly, that's a Western value. Well, who did it better than the Islamic scholars of Timbuktu?
Yeah. Like,
they traded in books.
If I remember,
basically they were slanging them books, man.
Yeah. If I remember right, Islamic scholars, I actually think they were from Timbuktu too, come to think about it, were some of the earliest people to actually record the negative effects that tobacco has on your body. Like,
makes sense, yeah.
Medical record, like medical scholarship, essentially. coming from an Islamic African society.
Oh yeah, and Judeo-Christian values. What? Why not have like the best things of all the religion value? Like, oh boy. Because man, Muslim history is fascinating as well.
Oh yeah,